Well, Isaac, we are back into the realm of the DC animated films. This has been a kind of a wavery road that we've been walking for the past, I think, maybe 3 years now. Oh, that's weird to think. But yeah, as we come to the close of our Superman series, we only have one more film after this one. But today we're doing Superman Unbound from 2013. And I'm curious up front, had you seen this one prior?
Well, I had heard of this film back when it was being released. I think in about May of 2013. Though I would be surprised. I just realized this. I would be surprised if people thought that this was a tie in to a certain film that was released around the same time.
Oh, yes, I could see that. Hmm.
I completely forgot about this. That's right. Now, I don't remember. Yeah, no, I believe Man of Steel was released in May. Because I think I saw it that yeah, I think I not opening day, but I remember being at the theater for that. Yeah, holy smokes, that's yeah. This is just a realization to me. 11 years ago, wow. So yeah, I wonder if people would have said, "Oh, this is just a cash in time," kind of like once again, just like Superman Brainiac attacks, but with Brainiac once again, it's like, are we seeing a spiritual sequel or
Hmm.
spiritual remake here to that film? Well, we're gonna have to, I guess, hit play to find out.
Yeah, and I'll say before we jump into that, I don't know why, but this one, when it did come out, seemed to make a bigger splash than some of these other DC animated movies did. And so, for a while, I was tempted to rent it because I was like, oh, I don't know, people keep talking about this one. Geekvolution, I remember, talked about it a bit, and some other places, some people I knew who were liking this stuff. And so, I was always curious to get to it. So it feels like I've gone full circle, that I'm finally here to discuss it. And so, yeah, happy to jump into it. See what we got.
Well, excellent. Therefore, ladies, gentlemen, those in between, and unaffiliated, please, if you would, get your physical or digital copies of this past the menus, or if there are no menus, digital or
Mm.
physical, legally or illegally purchased, of course. Get it past all the menus to timestamp zero. And we're going to do our level best to give you a commentary that provides context as to what's going on screen, of course, but also giving our personal thoughts and hopefully giving you an intellectually stimulating conversation. Are you ready, Caleb?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Everybody, please press play right now.
All right, I'm seeing the Warner Premiere logo. Not a bad looking logo, by the way. I kind of like that one. It almost looks like a knife, though, like it's stabbing into the Warner Premiere section.
It's a very weird karambit. Oh, this was. Oh, shoes. I forgot. This was. I'm surprised. Maybe they had this in here, but I think this wasn't this Superman's 75th anniversary.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what year the first Superman comic came out.
I think this may have been I completely forgot.
Huh.
Cuz I remember seeing they did a short, like an animated tribute to him over the years. I don't remember who it was. I don't know if it was Bruce Timm who did it, but somebody did something. And I remember when they did that with Batman. I think that was 2014 as well, wasn't it? Oof. All right. Well,
Yeah. By the way, I like that this intro is kind of the corruption of the Brainiac creature. I can't remember what his alien species was, but
I'm not going to say it without messing it up.
yeah, seeing him transform from kind of just a weak, like humanoid being to this ultra muscular, yeah, beast of a man, a creature. I think that's quite cool.
Bob Goodman. I don't know if that's an alias for somebody, but wow. Um Yeah, I don't know if he's what else he's done. I didn't look him up. Did you get a chance to look up the writer?
No, he's the one I forgot to look up. I looked up everybody else that I could.
That's perfectly fine.
Maybe I'll look him up now.
I guess fine. One thing I will say, maybe this is not a negative, but this is one that I lament.
Mm,
It's unfortunate because I see a lot of Martian Manhunter in this Brainiac design, and I'm like, oh well, this
yeah,
kind of sucks. Maybe not sucks, but it's like, oh, okay, that's unfortunate for me at least. But again, it's not a negative.
yeah. It's not too bad. But I was definitely thinking that early on. Yeah.
Ah, good. So you saw it as well. I'm like, no, not John. His world gets destroyed, so he goes out to the universe and just begins to take other worlds. It's like the white Martians, they took my world, I'll take everybody else's.
Oh, by the way, this guy was a big time Bruce Timm alum.
Ah,
Since the New Adventures, or the New Batman Adventures, I should say, he'd been a regular writer. And yeah, in the same year he did Batman Dark Knight Part 2, or Dark Knight Returns Part 2, sorry.
of course. I wonder if he did any Justice League, the TV series, of course.
He did some Justice League Unlimited, but not the original Justice League series.
Well, that's still part of that continuity, but fair enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we start off the film with a heist, it would seem. I guess they're heavily influenced from The Dark Knight, of course, but this time they have a hostage with them, Lois Lane. I think. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I have no idea if it's her.
Yeah, Lois Lane. Yeah, and a fairly, I'll say one of the things that there's a couple of things I'm not really a fan of with this movie. And not to say that I'm overall negative, and not to spoil that, but just a couple of things I don't particularly care for. And one of them is this Lois Lane actress. Yeah, I don't know. For whatever reason, she just wasn't quite working for me. So it just didn't feel quite right.
Fair enough. I felt a little more warm to her. I guess I know she's from Castle, and I mean, I didn't
Mm.
watch that series, but I think Kara's voice actor is also from Castle, I believe. So
Oh,
I just know that Fillion was on that show, so it's like, well, I kind of like Nathan Fillion at the time, so I guess I'll watch if it's on. But I never really like went out of my way to watch it. Um, I'll give quickly. I guess I'll just give a light feeling it to this movie. I know I'm
hmm.
like getting it out of the way, but just like yeah, no, I'm pretty feeling it with this one.
Well, I guess if we're gonna lay some cards down, I'll say, yeah, I would say, yeah, light feeling it as well. This is definitely not on the level of the previous one we did, Superman versus the Elite. But for an adaptation of that Brainiac story, which is a great comic, I think this is a pretty damn solid approximation. And if it was for, especially for a kid who maybe wouldn't have access to the comic, or maybe it was a little bit, maybe above their ability, I don't know. I feel like this would be a good introduction for them.
Yeah, I think this is more of a rent though, because I don't know what costs more, this or the comic book. So, I mean, the comic for us was like $5 or about $6. And if this movie at the time was like $20, well, I mean, I think it's depending on which streaming service it's on or whatever platform it's on to pay for. I think it's like $3.99 on YouTube. So, I guess yeah, watch this over that. I'd still go with I go with both. I think it's a good adaptation.
Yeah.
But I'm doing a disservice to Kara's rampage right now. I mean, not rampage, but just owning these guys like a boss.
Yeah, I do like this introduction for her. Yeah, she's just a badass. Definitely.
And yeah, definitely feeling it with her design. I love her face and her eyes. Those
Yeah.
beautiful blue eyes. Holy smokes. They work well with her costume as well. Although I'm surprised her costume's a little bit more faded blue, but there ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, still with the giant midriff. But yeah, no, I looked up most of the cast here, and yeah, no, I quite like what she was doing here, and she was indeed in Castle. So yeah, you got that right. But I believe this was the only thing that I noted on her IMDb that was DC related. She didn't really seem like she had much else work with them. But the person playing Lois, we'll see a lot of her because she goes on to play Wonder Woman during the what's that? Is it the Tomorrow World? The second one, whatever that was.
Oh, Tomorrow World or New 52?
Yeah, the second one. I think that was Tomorrow World. I think
Okay. Yeah, no, Tomorrowverse.
Tomorrowverse. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough. She comes back. Well, yeah. Again, the practice of right now, sorry, what is it? Clark and Kara are putting out a fire, and Clark's about to reprimand her for not yeah, kind of reprimand her for the way she was kicking butt out there with these goons. Who I'm gonna question, like, so what the hey was that whole thing about exactly?
Yeah, I couldn't tell if they were kidnapping Lois because she knew something that they didn't want her to know, or if it was to like attract. I don't know. I wasn't. Yeah, I guess it was just a cold open. It was just
Yeah,
the begin. Yeah, maybe we didn't need to know, but
that's fair. But anyway, back to what I was saying. With a lot of these actors, it was once again we kind of saw this in the New Frontier, where it was like, and again, I'd say the casting for a lot of these animated, like direct to video movies, OVAs, are kind of hit and miss. I think it's a split
yeah,
between a good like 50-50 ratio down the middle of like there's good ones, there's good like good casting decisions, and there's ones who just don't fit it, or maybe you needed like another take of some sort. And yeah, that's just sometimes what we get here, where they needed star power to say like, all right, let's bring this like popular person on TV in and have them who may have never done voice acting before in their life. Let's have them,
uh
hey, could you just voice this character for us, even if you'll never voice act again? It's like, oh, okay. I mean, it's a paycheck and whatnot. I mean, I don't want to sound that cynical, but and here comes the Iron Giant.
Oh, but I guess just speaking of, since I already mentioned someone who would come back later, Stana Katic, I think is how you say her name, the Lois Lane actress.
Stanokactic.
Yeah, we also have someone else who'd show up quite a bit more, Matt Bomer, playing Superman. Yeah, he went on to play the Flash in a couple of these films later on, and he also played Negative Man in Doom Patrol and Titans for almost the whole run of Doom Patrol. So he's definitely went on to have a bigger career with DC. But his soups here, like it's solid, but it's not going to be one of the ones that I walk away, remembering very fondly.
Agreed. No, I'm with you on that. I think it's a perfectly satisfactory role and a good introduction to him in his DC career. Which, by the way, he made the transition from animation to live action, eh? Or did he still do? Was he still voice acting as Negative Man?
Uh, Live action, I believe. I've never seen that program, but
Yeah, because Negative Man, I think, is kind of wrapped in bandages like a mummy. So it could have either been him in the mummy suit or it was just him as the voice.
oh, that's good. Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought about that. Hmm.
Yeah, you have to look that up. But returning with us once again is good old Steve Lombard and all his American machismo ways.
Definitely.
Can you smell what this man is cooking or what he just smells like?
Yeah, this is kind of a funny, also chaste scene because even though this is a PG-13 one, Steve here is making some questions about, hey, are you dating that Kent? If not, oh, he's so well dressed. He never seems interested in women. Maybe he's gay, but they never come out and actually say the word gay. But he does have kind of an innuendo line where he's like, oh, I can't remember what he said. Something about him standing up and saluting. I think he was saying women are the ones that make him do that. I think that's what he said.
Something like that, where he's like, he stands like straight upright or something like that. And I'm like, I see. Okay, I see what you did there.
Yeah, but it was still kind of a fun little showing that guy's an asshole scene, even if they didn't want to come out and say it outright.
Now, in this scene, it's funny. Some of this dialogue between Lois and Clark are almost, yeah, reminding me back to Brainiac, where Brainiac Attack, excuse me. Funny enough, where they had a similar thing, not fully, of course, where this is more clearly like, I'm happy. First off, this is way better. I say better. This is a better set. Oh, there's Cat Grant. Just wanted to, even though it
Yep.
means nothing, but nice to see her there. But um, this is I think better even than Superman Doomsday as well, where the setup there is with that one, Lois and Superman are together, but she doesn't know. Like she knows it's Clark, but he won't tell her. That's weird. In Brainiac Attacks, it's Superman wanting to tell, or yeah, Clark wanting to tell Lois that he's Superman, and she'll, he's worried about her for that. In this, instead of adapting the book where I think it was implied they were, married, if I recall. Yeah, Miss
Yep.
Kent's, that's right. Or Mrs. Kent, excuse me. In this, they instead adapt that this is right before, spoilers, they're going to get married. So I like that. I kind of like that, at least for this one. Yeah, I was okay with the setup and where they were at in their relationship, and how Lois is a little bit like peeved off that, sure, he can save her in a plane of some sort, but when it comes to like the newsroom when she gets heckled by other men. It's like, oh, you gotta come to my survival.
Yeah, I like that she ended up being pissed at him for doing that because I mean, he what he did was kind of rude too. Like he burns the chair, knocks the guy down. It's like that's maybe a little bit of an abuse of his power. And so she's a little bit pissed at him.
Toxic masculinity, chauvinistic, and or I mean, I'll say this. I mean, in a way of adapting the comic, it brings back that scene where he burns the chair to have Steve, fall on his back. So, I mean, I
Yeah.
guess it's get points for that. But story wise, you're absolutely right. Where it's him, yeah, kind of doing a bit of a dick measuring competition.
Oh, I did like this bit when the Doom bot hit him with its little blade, and he just goes, "Ow!" I thought that was funny to hear Superman doing that.
Doom bot, I love that.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
I know.
looking at this guy. Which, by the way, they did not manage to replicate the very scary look that the Brainiac droids had in that comic. Like they were really creepy at times.
Yep.
So I thought that was too bad. Oh wow, she looks beautiful in her disguise.
Yep. Next adaptational change where she's with the Kents and she's wearing a wig and glasses. That's amazing.
Yeah. And the little pigs, she's like sad that they're gonna eat them, and the pigs just look so cute. I was like, oh my god.
Great. Let's just go back and watch and or reread Charlotte's Web.
Our Animal Farm. Oh dear, the pigs in that. Jeez.
Yeah, no, exactly. But she still calls him Cal. But no, this scene between her and Ma Kent, that's no, I'm loving it.
Yeah, another change that I quite like. Oh, and just to pick up with the Lois and Clark thing again, I like the way that they tied in his kind of I don't it's almost like a touch of like chauvinistic ways where he's like, "Oh, Lois, you need to be protected and yeah, I don't want you to do anything." And he almost does a similar thing with his cousin here to some degree. Not quite the same because he's trying to shape her to be a better hero, but at the same time not letting her necessarily stand her own the same way he does with Lois. I like that image too of Jonathan just sleeping in that couch like way too big.
Yeah, no, it's like, oh, he's absolutely positively dead. Thankfully not. And by the way, even though this may be the only scene with them, I love how their designs as well. I'm a fan of
Yeah,
their designs.
yeah. No, I definitely. I wish we had a little bit more with them, but for what we got, I definitely appreciated it.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't get a scene between Clark and Kara and then those two all together. I wish that were the case. This part here, where they're looking at footage of Superman versus the Brainiac bot, and then just Kara shows up in front of them and taps on the glass and is like, leaves.
Yeah,
I was a little. What would you get out of that scene? I was a little bit more like, what? She exists? I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody knows she exists.
yeah. It was more like they wanted to keep that image from the comic, but they just couldn't really work it into the script.
Oh, right. When she goes into the goes inside and confronts Kat. Well, not confronts, but it's like, hey, where's Superman?
Yeah. So what we get from it in this movie is it just makes Lois concerned and makes Steve horny. He's raising those eyebrows at her like, "Hey, look at me and my big pecs. What do you think?" Which I thought was kind of funny, admittedly.
Watch as my eyes roll across the solar system. Anyway, faster than I can go around the solar system. Yeah, and in this case, yeah, you're right. Where in a similar way, while it is a bit chauvinistic, this is a little bit more, similar. Not, well, yeah, it's an adaptational change where Clark is, concerned for Kara's safety and adjustment to the world itself, and so he's obviously given her the Smallville treatment of like, all right, let's start from here and see
Yeah.
if you can adjust from there. And Kara's just like, yeah, this ain't happening because I didn't. Literally, like this is a teenager raised in a farm setting of just like, yeah, not like unfortunately she doesn't have what you had where you started off like as an infant.
Yeah, I do like her like feeling like it's unfair the way it turned out. I feel a lot of like her emotional sadness in this one. I feel it emotionally at times throughout this story.
Wait, was that I hear? Was that I hear? The world's tiniest violin.
Oh,
With teen angst. No, I'm just kidding.
I feel it a little bit.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling it too. By the way, I just love the fact that some of the Kryptonian guards in this. Wow, that was blood. Um,
Yeah.
okay, I will. I guess I'll say this right now. Some of the violence is a little inconsistent.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
nothing's wrong with them showing it as when it has to, but at the same time, it's like like they could have like either go all in with it or only maybe it's only like just certain scenes to keep it from being like an R rating.
Yeah. And I think for the PG, they could have pushed a little bit more than they do. But they at least made a couple moments impactful, you know. Like we saw there when he blew at the back of that guy's head and it was just like an explosion of
Yep.
blood.
And by the way, I just love the fact that these Kryptonian guards, while it's almost like Isaac, don't say it, they're not just generic SWAT guys. It's like no, they look exactly like Judge Dredd.
Interesting. Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I didn't see that, but I have to take a look at him again.
I was like, oh, it's Judge Dredd. He is the law.
Oh, I like that separation on the bridge. And like the little like teenager version of her or preteen version of her. I think is a pretty cute image too.
And her friend being stuck in there as well. Just like, oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
What would have been probably R rating is if as the this is pure OVA territory. If the dome was about to like completely encapsulate the area, I could just imagine it like going right into somebody and either cutting them in half or squishing them and
I
becoming
knew
just
you were going there.
yeah, of course, because of course I will complete and utter like fish paste or human paste at that point.
You can just see them like trying to crawl away and then it separates and
And what's worse is that they're still alive.
yeah, save that for the OVA. Yeah.
This part was I like this part where uh again I think from the comic Kara blasts this bot with her heat vision. By the way, that
Yeah.
bot, or at least actually that's a good part where they like only kept the side of the bot in view rather than the other side that was melted. But I also like the part where Clark shields himself in front of her. I think that was good symbolism.
Oh yeah, and I always have to point out I do love whenever they have the Superman logo on the cape as well at the back.
But of course,
I just always like that. So happy to see it here.
except for hers,
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah, no, unless her hair's moving it, or sorry, not moving, covering it.
yeah, I'll have to keep an eye out for it. Yeah. Yeah, and I like the way that she says I'm pretty sure it's this scene where she says like, "Oh, you've grown up here, you have these powers, like but back where I lived, we didn't have powers and we were just kind of weak and having to deal with this. You can't relate to what it was like for us." There's a lot of emphasis on that in this story in general.
And this time the roles are reversed, excuse me, where he doesn't fully tell Lois where he's going, and he tells Kara where he's going. In the comic, it was the other way around, but
Oh yeah. Hmm.
whatever. That's not a again, pointing it out. Not doesn't mean I hate it. Just there's the change right there.
Yeah, then she brought up Perry White. I guess his son was having a baby, and she used that as
The
a
sis or daughter.
or daughter used that as a way to transition into like, hey, some people get married and have a normal life and settle down. Why can't we do it? Why do we always have to live this secret? Even if your secret identity is a secret identity, why does your public identity have to still have all this secretness around it?
I can't remember which continuity it was where he said straight up to Lois, like, we can't have kids. We're incompatible. I do not remember
Yeah,
which one that was. It was in one of these.
yeah, I vaguely remember that. Yeah, I remember which one.
Oh, was it in Doomsday? I may have been. Yeah, I think it was Doomsday.
I'll have to go back. It's been a while since we did that one.
No, I remember it. Yeah, because they were sleeping together, but I think he's like, yeah, we can't. We're not like compatible. The biology doesn't align.
Yeah, and I do feel bad for Lois in this one because this version of Clark it does seem like maybe he would be kind of a closed off partner, someone who has a lot of walls up that you can't really penetrate, and maybe not the best communicator either.
No, certainly not. So this man isn't just super all the time. I also like the fact that there's not wipes, but there's fades to black.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small detail, but I definitely enjoy that. Now we have, whether it's months later or whatnot, we have Clark inside his baby's escape pod, now retrofitted to be a spaceship and with all the crystals everywhere and going to find Brainiac.
Oh yeah, and I'll say one of the things I didn't love was their look for the Fortress of Solitude, the inside of it. It just looked a bit too sparse for me. Just a smidge, but
I mean, we barely got anything from it in the comic. I forgot to mention that. Like, I mean, it's the Fortress of Solitude. I mean, why not?
yeah, but it was so crystalline cool. And I don't know if it's just my incorrect brain, but I always associate the crystals with the Superman the 1978 movie. I always think of that as being from that. So whenever I see it, I always feel like that's a reference. But I don't know if that's something they did before. I don't know.
Well, in if you remember in the comic, because we had Margot Kidder and Christopher
Yeah,
Reeve as
exactly.
the um, models for both Superman and Lois, they also brought in a lot of and same thing with whatever their names were in the same actors as Ursa and Zod. They really were heavily influencing that whole Krypton based off of the 78 film. So the crystals in the Fortress of Solitude were just that.
Well,
Wow, that was an explosion.
yeah.
Yeah, some of this stuff is reminding me a bit of. I was like, especially in the end as well. I'm like, huh, this reminds me of the deleted scene. You don't know about this, where it's the Iron Giants race going up against other cultures, which
Oh,
is a deleted scene slash they put it back in one of the re-releases. But anyway, I was what I was trying to show him. When we did the well, maybe I'll talk about it at some point later on. But by the way, it's a good thing Marvel didn't sue DC at this point because all the emblems these aliens have are clearly the Marvel logo, as in like the Marvel family logo in that continuity.
oh, I thought you were gonna say because they also look like Ultron sentries. I was thinking of that a little bit too.
No, not so much. They look like Terminators and
Little Terminator. Yeah.
definitely not. Yeah, no, and maybe Doombots. It depends. The comic when that was it the Fantastic Four comic we were reviewing. I mean, maybe they kind of look a bit like that, but that was 2022,
Yeah, they're a bit different for those
and
ones.
this was 2013. So, I mean, again, every artist has an interpretation of Doombots
Yeah.
and Brainiac bots. So overlap is it's a coincidence. What can you say? It's called synchronicity.
But that's was so nice about the one in the comic is they had this very they were making me think of H.R. Geiger or Giger with all their little tubey bits, and they were very alienish in a way,
Yep.
which made them feel more distinct than yeah some of those robots we see.
I'm just gonna say it right now. The Brainiac spaceship and or yeah, like spaceship looks a lot like the face, air quotes, and or like yeah, the brain of a Bionicle.
Oh, oh, that's interesting. I can kind of see.
Depends, obviously. I would say maybe the Metro Nui line. I never did get the Hordika, so I don't. I did get the Anika, but it definitely does not look like the Anika heads. But yikes, he got exploded.
Down for the count. Where's the ref?
Wait, is that music I hear in the and sound I hear in? Okay, anyway. Speaking of which, what did you think of the music in this?
Um, it was decent. It felt like it could have been out of one of the TV shows to some degree, but it was decent. I thought.
There were one of the most standout tracks was in the bit where he's traveling through space to find Brainiac, and
Mm.
then he's listening to his uncle's speech and a recording. So I was like, that was probably the one that I was like, okay, this doesn't sound as generic as I thought it would. It actually sounds like it has some personality to it and individuality to it. Whereas I could hear with like Lois and Clark, they were having some light fanfare with it, which I mean made sense. It's just why not? But in yeah, some of the other it's pretty satisfactory. I guess it gets the job done.
Yeah, we can't skip over this.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, Supergirl. She's taken the world by storm, and she discovered some. They say human traffickers in North Korea. I don't know if that's quite right, but some people were trying to escape, and the military showed up and was putting the clap down. You can't leave our country, and Supergirl showed up and was like, "Hey, screw you, open borders, motherfucker."
Yep. Let's go. Also, looks like this is a world where there's only Superman and Supergirl, as far as we're aware.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean,
Yeah, I did think it was funny them kind of complaining like, "Hey, like what's she doing helping the rest of the world? She should be here helping us." I was like, well, like maybe she should be helping people in North Korea.
yeah,
What Soup's doing all the time.
exactly. Like, and that leads to other implications of like, wait, so he doesn't go to North Korea to, okay, well that's
Yeah, yeah, that is interesting.
he's Superman, right? Um, it was funny in that scene where when she first showed up, and by the way, I just love the fact that guns mean nothing to her, and
Yeah,
of course her cousin. But it was weird where when she was flying, her skirt, I looked at her skirt like randomly because I was like, wait, it's smaller than her head. Like what the hey? It was a perspective shot, of course. Like I assume the modeler was or the animator like kind of. It's not off animation, but it was definitely like a style and or like a decision to make it that way. It almost seemed like it was done quickly for the sake of budgetary reasons, but whatever.
yeah. I'll ask more about the animation a little bit. I did want to point out just before we get too far away from it. I did like in that scene Perry White being like, "What is it with this Superman? He seems to disappear for weeks at a time. Where does he go? Is he like off protecting other planets?" And he's like, "I want to write an article, The Aloofness of Superman." I thought that was all fun, and I appreciate them questioning that too. Like, where does he go when he disappears for weeks at a time?
Oh, I love the fact that he assigns Lois the article.
Yeah, that was a fun end to the scene.
So we get the scene where it doesn't look exactly like a baboon. It's
Yeah,
more I don't know, like not wolf, but either way, yeah, the creature that comes out of the imprisonment, and he just straight up kills him. Like that jaw is dislocated, and I think he just straight up kills that creature.
I didn't take it as dead, but I was definitely thinking, man, he screwed that thing up. That's gonna take a while to heal, and if it isn't set, it ain't gonna heal right. So yeah, I was definitely like, this is a colder Superman. He didn't even apologize like the one in the comic. He just kind of looked at him like, "We got job done."
Yeah, it was little touches like that that Johns remembers who he, at least in that issue or that series of issues, he remembers who he's writing.
Yeah, yeah. This guy is very cold. He does have a very alien quality to him. Another potentially another similarity with the movie that came out this same year. Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure this one was in production around the same time as Man of Steel, so or maybe, animation takes a while to make, so I don't know which came first, the animation or the um, voice acting, but either way, yeah, it was. Yeah, this one's a lot more. Yeah, how we say. I mean, he doesn't immediately punch Brainiac, but yeah, he's definitely a lot more, and especially when he's like, um, I get physical or whatever when I need to be. It's like, it depends.
He jumps to it pretty quick. But I did like right away them establishing the kind of towering figure of Brainiac. Like he is huge compared to Superman.
He's a combination to me between, and even the ship kind of also looks like this. He's a combination between Martian Manhunter and Darkseid.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I think in terms of characterization, I think they get it pretty decently from off the page with this guy. He doesn't feel as scary or as necessarily as alien feeling, but I can you can still see that same egomaniac and kind of distanced figure, where everyone's just there to advance him. It's nothing else really matters. He does view himself as a god in a way.
And I will give props to the casting of John Noble. I think, especially with the, I guess, voice synthesizer in his voice, I
Mm,
definitely appreciated the role he had here.
yeah, yeah. No, he's definitely. I was feeling bad for Lance Henriksen. I mean, I thought his Brainiac was okay, but admittedly, this one is the superior one. I think for animated.
You are absolutely correct. And again, I think Lance Henderson could do a really good job as Brainiac if they gave him
Yeah.
stuff like this.
Oh, but I did want to highlight and ask. So, what do you think of our pals Moy Animation? How do you think they did on this one?
Muy good. No, of course not. No, this is absolutely wonderful. Like, despite maybe some coloring directions with like how they, because Brainiac is positively a lot more colorful than Superman. That's pretty interesting.
Hmm.
You would think for something so cold and sterile, from the book, that he's the one that's colored more than Clark is.
Yeah, no, that is interesting. There's almost a muted quality to Superman.
That's not on them. That's yeah, that's not on them. That's just like a observation that I had. Well, sent him to the Phantom Zone, didn't he? Um, but no, yeah, this is from show. From what we saw of them in book 3 of Avatar: The Last Airbender to this.
Hmm.
Wow, holy
Yeah,
smokes, this is amazing.
can see what some increased budget can do.
And again, it's also it was different productions, not production, but
Yeah,
different like
that's
character
fair.
designers, of course, from like Warner Brothers Animation as well. So combination between both. This scene where Lois is about to call and get Kara's attention is brilliant because we had something similar to it in the comic where it's like, well, we did. Who was it? It was I think it was Cat Grant who was saying,
Oh yeah.
use that," or Steve, I don't remember. Like, use that stupid watch of yours to get Superman over here. So this is a good adaptation part of it, and of course, kind of call back to us doing Little Girl Lost, but Jimmy here is a little bit more. He knows exactly what he's looking at here, and that was a nice little bit of like, oh, nice. So that's how I can call her. Sweet. It's the reverse here, where Kara there was like, "Hey, Jimmy," and here it's like, "Oh, hey, Kara, how's it going?"
Yeah, I thought that whole scene was cute. Her showing up, being like, "Ow, like what the hell are you doing with that?" He turns it off and then just gives her this like look of like, "Oh my gosh, you're so attractive." And she's like, "Oh, someone notices me in that way."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought just the exchange of looks really worked there. And the watch looked great. I always love seeing that watch.
Oh, of course, of course. I don't know. There's probably watches out there with that. I don't know what design I'd like the most, but that one definitely would look, you know, possibly real, and I would definitely have that as a novelty item.
That would be a cool one. Yeah.
This as well, where we didn't have. I'm trying to remember now. Sorry if it's left my brain, but we didn't have as much interactions, I think, between Kara and Lois. But I definitely, again, enjoyed this adaptation where the two of them at least have a scene together.
Yeah. And just the pessimism of her. It seems like she feels like there's no hope. It's just kind of like, yeah, like he's just going to come here. He's going to take this city, and that's just what it is. And she's like, oh, I guess Superman's trying to stop him, but who can stop him? It's a sad situation to be in for her.
And it's also interesting that Kara does decide to like, the rest of the world has not exactly been dealt with by Clark, so I'm gonna, you know, see it as my playground to, toughen up everybody and you get the bullies, give them a slap on the wrist or whatnot, or kick the crap out of them. But Metropolis is fine. It's like interesting.
Yeah, I think it's nice to because I'm sure if she was breaking out at Clark like this too, I'm sure he would try to be there for her, but like we said, he has that kind of distance to him, that alien quality. So it's nice for her to bond with Lois there, someone who could really tap in and try to be a confidant for her. Yeah, I quite like that addition.
Just immediately like, I know I have I'm able to get the Pentagon. It's like, really? Okay. I mean, we know that her dad's a general, like in other
That's fair.
continuities, but I don't know if they brought that over here. One cannot just assume if that's the case. Huh. So now Superman's a part of Kendor.
Yeah, this was an interesting touch, and I like the fact that now, because earlier on, Kara was pointing out like, oh, you've kind of always lived with these powers to some degree. You could never understand what it was like for us to be powerless, and now he has to live under a red sun, and we have to see him deal with that situation. I thought that was a nice addition as well.
And it's interesting how he doesn't immediately lose all the energy within him. It's still somewhat there, but
Yeah,
Usually, like red energy immediately like puts it out. But again, different continuities. I'm sorry.
Yeah, maybe he's like a somewhat like solar battery. He's got a certain stock. He's not enough to fly like that, but
Well, there's a classic Brainiac design. Honestly, yeah, no. If you just had the heads, have the green part to it, that's pretty much like classic Brainiac. Maybe Bruce Timm's version.
I like this too. That now that we get to actually see what it's like in their society, that they have these like political protectors keeping anyone from doing anything that's beyond what they allow. I think that almost creates another insidious side to his control over these civilizations.
State police.
Yeah, doesn't just take their city and trap it in a bottle. He also patrols it and makes sure that everyone lines up right where he wants them to be. Yeah, extra creepy.
Not completely lobotomized yet. Yeah, it still makes me wonder. Now I kind of want to see like a Elseworld story where Green Lanterns have to deal with Brainiac because he's a you
Hmm.
know intergalactic criminal basically by stealing everybody's culture. It's interesting if Brainiac would ever invade Oa. Now that'd be a cool issue to look at.
Yeah, I'm sure he must have met up, or they must have battled him at one point. But I'd love to see how that turned out.
And of course, Green against Green. Like, how could you not make the jokes? It's right there. And so Superman visits his uncle Aquaman,
Oh, is that the actor or just the
and I
look?
guess Aunt. No, like look, freaking look at them, bud.
Yeah,
Like that's how can you not tell me that's Aquaman and Mara?
that's fair.
Sure, her hair's not as red, but still, that's just that.
Yeah, they need to save budget there, so Moy just pulled this out of their catalog from when they worked on whichever one they worked on. I don't know. I'm sure they worked on one of them.
Somebody brought something back. I'm not
Yeah,
exactly sure. They were like, okay, here we go. Here's unused versions or unused designs of Aquaman and Mara. So we just slightly change Mira's hair color to, I guess, strawberry blonde or whatever that is, auburn, and yeah, that's it.
yeah, and again, I like this whole scene. We get Clark being like, "Wow, I get to actually have real, genuine Kryptonian food," and they're like, "Well, sort of. I mean, this is just what we have. Everything really here is artificial and controlled by Brainiac. We can't really grow our own food, and yeah, he listens in constantly. He's always watching and just observing everything. So yeah, it makes it really a really disturbing vision. And they're frozen in time too. Nobody ages. They're just stuck like this in his little human zoo or Kryptonian zoo.
Eternal pain in a way because if somebody acts as a deterrent potentially, or if they're acting against what Brainiac wills, then he'll send his robots down and basically punish those with electrocution, and then yeah, they will not die potentially, and they'll just get the message potentially. It'll be interesting to see if like species over time have become numb to this enforcement.
Hmm. Oh, I do love this when he goes out in a rage. He's like, okay, he's threatening Brainiac, like, hey, come down here. I'm gonna tear apart your little illusion here. And he starts bashing it apart, and you just see everyone looking just kind of like stunned, like, oh my gosh.
What the hey is he doing? It's like, geez, super, like, okay, fine, like, geez, we'll get you your corn album. Holy crap, man.
And I love that too. That made me laugh actually when they were like confused at first, and they're like, oh my gosh, he wants the robots to come. That's why he was destroying our street. Oh, it's not looking destroyed anymore.
Hey, well, yeah, where the hey is that hole? Come on, like, sure.
Yeah,
Wasn't always the case in Avatar, but suspension of disbelief. That's like not like,
no.
yeah, nothing at all. Like, where the hey did that rock? Anyway, whatever.
Maybe it was supposed to be that they fixed it when they arrived.
Who knows?
Maybe that's what it was. That's what I hope. Hopefully, that's what that was.
Fingers crossed. Oh, so it wasn't in the Phantom Zone. Interesting.
Yeah, no one thought about doing that before. He just once the robots came, he took them down, and once they're beamed out, he beamed out with them. They must have all felt really stupid after he left. Like, oh shit, we could have done that all this time.
Now everybody else is just like, okay, like let's relay this message over to the other bottles and just
Yeah,
be like, all right, guys, like, yeah, oh, hello there. um, with but with all the other trapped species, as if it were like the Omnitrix, um, them all housed similarly Matrix style. It's like that image of the Matrix image of all the humans stuck in those pods. Yeah, really like looking into that.
I liked when he came to attack Brainiac. He said, "Hey, ugly." Something about that's just funny.
Jeez, I
Like
mean,
the Superman does have that side to him.
yeah, like Brainiac usually was attacked. I believe in this position, like Brainiac was, well, Clark wasn't shrank down and put in the bottle, but um, yeah, it just seemed kind of like I know Brainiac's bad and all, but like I don't know, I don't really. It feels like you're beating up somebody in a wheelchair.
That's fair. That's fair. This is the Joe Kelly version of Superman. Maybe I could see that guy beating up a guy in a wheelchair.
Well, hang on a second. Like he's a little bit more redeemable in the film version of
Yeah, that's fair.
Elite. Excuse me. I think he was more closer to what we were thinking of Superman as.
See, Superman, he only grabbed Kandor again. He should have been running to all the cities and like yelling at them, "Grab your jackhammers, bring those fucking robots over, and then beat them up." Find since they find a way out now.
And then you can escape with me. Wait a minute.
Yeah, like, hey, wait a minute. Yeah, he's just leaving them all. Like, didn't even say anything to them. Like, hey, I'll be back to save you guys. Just doesn't even care.
As he says to Kara, he leaves the ship marooned. Oh, and just a convenient wormhole. Lovely. Okay. Wait.
Yeah, what?
What? Why is what? Why is what? Huh? Space and time have warped out. Why is Saturn right there?
Does his ship? Can he? No, I don't know. That's weird.
I'm just going with there's a computer in there that is able to calculate the appearance of a wormhole. I'm just going with that.
Oh, I like this here too. I thought this was a surprise that Kara said Ma and Pa,
Yep.
two of the Kents. I was like, oh,
I love that. I love that detail.
I like that too. Yeah, definitely a change from the previous, from the comic origins. But yeah, I definitely appreciate that too.
Instead of her being isolated all the time in the fortress, she's now with the Kents.
Yeah, and seems to have a good relationship with them. And again, her costume's just so cute. Her disguise is just, yeah, I'm loving it.
What can I say? Overalls looks pretty cool and pretty practical as well.
Yeah, the huge glasses. Yeah.
Wig, I mean, fair enough.
Oh, and I like this. Oh boy, he's now Brainiac is in pissed off mode.
Oh yeah, because Clark kind of pissed him off.
Yeah. Let's
Beat him down when he's in his chair.
Yeah, he's taking some of the super soldier serum and he's ready to yeah, beat up this guy.
Oh boy, that's not good.
Yeah.
And again, Fade to Black, I just appreciate that. I don't mind because
Yeah.
all the other ones didn't usually kind of have this, so it's like the end of an act almost. And now we come to, I guess, almost one could say like the third act, and here we go.
Yeah, the fade to black, it almost, yeah, I don't know, it adds a more like epic quality to it to some degree, or an older school quality. Yeah, his colors are weird. His colors are strange.
Yeah, at first I thought they were a lot more brighter, but hers are never. I was probably wrong. Where hers are a lot more brighter than his are.
Yeah. Huh. Didn't really think about that before. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I just watched this, so it's weird. But where was I going with this?
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's perfectly fine. Oh, right, with the Phase to Black, it kind of feels like it keeps the pace at a balance. It doesn't feel like it has to keep moving forward, and it's not going slow as molasses, but it feels paced, and I like that about this.
Oh, and Clark said that he's going to take the Candor to a planet that he knows of that's habitable with a red sun.
Wonder where that is.
Yeah. Habitable with no life on it? Or is he gonna, it's time to take out the life there and put the Candor in there instead?
And also, what about terraforming? What exactly is an atmosphere like? Are the Like, is it too thin?
Oh
Are
no.
the what do you call it? Are the Kandorians gonna be like, crushed under the weight of the gravity? Like, it's a whole new field of gravity as well. Like, and how many moons is there? What's the solar cycles like? Anyway,
Yeah,
and
terraforming.
he also made mention, exactly, not too. We need an atmospheric processing station, but also he made a mention as well of like, we gotta get, I marooned the ship. We gotta get everybody else out. We gotta get all the other bottled cities out. Will they stick true to the word there?
Yeah, I was gonna say terraforming. Leave that for Man of Steel. A few months later, I think.
Yeah, this was, March or April or something like that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, his head exploded. So here's where we get a lot more robots. Oh, and would you look at that? This is oddly like the same invasion of New York. I mean, this is Metropolis, but New York from Avengers Assemble.
Yeah, are these guys the was it the Chitari?
Yep.
It's been a long time since I watched that one. Wow.
Also 11 years prior to this. Or sorry, no,
Following.
what am I thinking of? Sorry. Yeah, not 11 years. Yeah. What am I saying 11 for? 13.
Yeah.
I can't count today for some reason.
Yeah, it was 1 year before this one, right? Avengers, and then yeah, that was
2012. May 4th, funny enough, 2012.
yeah, 12 years ago now that that one came out. Wow.
Oh, wait, 12. Right, never mind. So I like this bit where I say the bit, but now we have what I also meant was the US Army going up against the Iron Giant, but this time the giant fights back.
Yeah, here comes the military to waste their military budget for the year, just like in every Godzilla movie.
As per usual. And once
Yeah.
again, yeah, they're going to need some heavy firepower, or heavier firepower, excuse me.
Call the military contracts. We got a field day for them. Design us some better weapons.
We have to use everyone's tax dollars, or else, like, they're all just going to be wasted, and Lex Luthor's going to use them all up.
Oh my gosh, they are just yeah, they're stabbing people right in the brain left and right. Jeez. It's just like those aliens.
Yes, a single wooden door and a filing cabinet's going to keep them away.
Yeah, things that could walk through explosions without any damage couldn't just walk right through that door.
Also, didn't they have personal shields?
Maybe.
Oh, and of course, once again, this is a little bit outdated, but these droids or these robots, way better than the droids from Episode 1.
Roger, Roger.
So this part here I found interesting, where it's not full on static images, but
It's
kind
cool.
of just poses almost. Though his pose with his butt out was interesting.
Yeah, eat your heart out, Joel Schumacher.
Agreed.
But no, I absolutely love that. Yeah, that felt yeah like a nice reference. Oh no, here it comes.
I almost wish we had the. I don't know if it would be appropriate in this movie, but I kind of wish we had in one movie. And I say one movie, but somewhere we would have the Adam West automatopoeias.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I feel like was it the last movie when they had that kind of 70s or pop art style opening with the title sequence? I feel like maybe there was some of those in there,
Oh,
but
right, in the Superman versus the Elite.
yeah, but I could be wrong. It was a while ago that we watched that one.
Okay, that was a weird shot where we just like we cut to Superman, we cut to Kara, we cut back to Superman, we cut back to Kara. Huh?
Yeah, and then they zoomed in on a cat in the middle and did like a double zoom.
Oh boy.
Reference to Way of the Dragon discussion, everybody.
Yes.
If you don't know what we're talking about,
Even though these two aren't fighting each other, I guess I'll say here, yeah, not feeling this Metropolis.
it does have an air of blandness to it. Yeah.
It's a lot more, I guess, presentable looking than, say, Bruce Timm's Metropolis. Or maybe not Metropolis, but
Oh,
some of his other cities in DC, but in like Justice League, for instance, maybe not. Sorry, it's better than like the standard cities. That's what I meant to say, not Metropolis. But yeah, this one, Yeah, no, we've seen better.
Yeah, it does kind of feel just like generic city USA
Yep.
with a mix of a whole bunch of cities thrown in. Yeah, the Bruce Timm Superman the Animated Series Metropolis, that was beautiful. I loved spending time there. But
And same thing with Grant Morrison's version in uh crap. All Star Superman.
oh no. Damn, that looks cool. Oh,
Yikes, it's trapped it in an egg.
yeah, Snow Globe City. I want my Metropolis Snow Globe. See Brainiac selling them.
Okay, that'd be kind of cool if that was in this. Like if that was a what is it, like a setup where like Clark or somebody had like a snow globe and then they eluded it. Like that was just an allusion to what happens here.
Hey, now you're using your noggin. That's a good idea.
You
Yeah.
mean like what Brainiac's doing to Clark?
He is using his noggin. That's very true.
I mean, hey, one day this will look well. No, because we're gonna have wireless. It's the reverse of Ghost in the Shell. Like it's coming out of the forehead, not the back of the forehead, the front of the forehead. Sorry.
Look at those giant veins on his arms. He is juiced.
He is like again. You know what I said before? How he like encapsulated that part of Metropolis in egg. Well, that's because this man is yoked. He's eating all them eggs. Look at all them eggs on his head. This guy's a literal definition of egghead. Better than the egghead in Ant-Man comics.
Oh, I like to see the blood there. I feel like it's a rare image for Superman. Seeing him all bloodied up. It's one of the selling points of Doomsday, wasn't it? It's like, oh, this is someone who can really fuck this guy up big time.
Jeez, kind of, I say glad, but like, yikes. Probably a good thing that they cut away from her screaming with those
Yeah, yeah.
wires entering her orifices.
Oh no, oh no. Oh, he's got the red eyes, the demon eyes.
Well, not Superman this time. Also, he was pretty beat up in Superman versus the Elite, if you remember.
Oh, oh yeah, yeah. You're right. Yeah, I guess those when he was almost that one he was almost fighting gods too. Just their strange powers. They're like ultra powerful.
I wonder which do you think between those two, with like this one and the Elites, again, not to draw comparisons, but which do you think earns the PG? I don't know if this is PG-13, but which do you think earns a PG more? I feel like that one's a little more consistent with that one, or with PG.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, this one it was. This could have been a PG if they just left out a little bit of blood, like the alien blood blasting out on the ground and then the guy's head exploding. Otherwise, it would have been a PG, I think. The subject matter doesn't feel too strong. The subject matter in Superman vs. the Elite, yeah, it was more for an audience that could comprehend the moral complications there.
I And in this, I'm appreciative that in place of Jonathan Kent getting offed, instead
Mm.
he's going to the North Pole and going to retrieve the city of Kandor.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's the big selling point, I guess, of the film. They probably, for some reason, used for the advertising, which made me lead to believe like this was a crude film.
Oh, did they use that in the advertising? Oh man.
Yes, like look at us, we're edgy guys. We listen to Alice in Chains.
Oh god, it did feel like the DC animated stuff. Every time they had a stronger rating, it did feel like they were like, yeah, like desperately selling that, and it was weird. It was weird.
See, guys, we listen to Disturbed. Look how cool we are.
I guess even the DC Black Label, the marketing around that coming out, that was also kind of like, oh, look how cool and edgy we are. Aren't you impressed by us? Please read our books.
Yeah, we're gonna show Batman's penis and then like regret that later on, then like cover it up.
Oh, he grabbed right into that fucking brain cavity again.
Always lift him up. What's he gonna do? What is he gonna do? Is he gonna do the Kurt Angle? What's the angle slam or what was it called?
I was hoping he was gonna do the King Kong and tear him apart over his head with all the blood.
I was kind of hoping for the Bane backbreaker, but that did not happen.
Oh man,
Hmm.
she looked in a bad way there.
Yeah. Uh huh. No, that's not. But again, yep. Clark, you better keep to your promise and come back for all those other bottled cities, because
Yeah, we're watching.
it's
Yeah.
gonna take a while. I get the logistics of it, but even still,
Yeah, this thing better not end without us seeing him getting a trolley together and just stacking them up. And oh no, Ugh! The spider ones too.
crabs,
The super battle droids, they're there.
the droidicas. All right, I'll give him this. Some of these designs are pretty cool. These
Yeah.
ones are a lot. I'm more approving of these ones over the final form, or whatever you want to call it, from Brainiac Attacks.
I just have to say, Soups is no match for a droid because
Ah,
I always love that line.
got it.
Plughead is how you just call him. That's oh
Could have been Egghead. A well-known line. All right, this wasn't a terrible part. Well, I guess, or was there one take? I don't remember now.
yeah, it looks like they're going for that. Yeah,
And oh, she's going hog wild. She's going hog wild.
they brought in a little bit of that like semi shaky cam just for stylistic
I
effect.
guess so. So this part reminds me from Tartakovsky's Clone Wars, where Mace Windu blocks a continuous light laser beam and then like blows up all the droids before blowing up the same droid. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Hmm.
And here we have, yeah, like I'm not totally sold on DC action. Sometimes it ultimately depends.
Yeah,
It's not as, I don't know, like with, because most of the time they just have them flying around and doing like just punches and that's it. And I don't know what it is. I mean, okay, wait. If you just opened up an airlock, like, shouldn't everything be a vacuum right now? Anyway,
well, it wouldn't bother these guys.
wait, does that sound in space? Yeah, but they'd still be pulled out into space, wouldn't they? Even if they could fly under their own power.
Yeah, but you're right. These DC animated ones, they do almost have like the Goldberg effect, where all it is just big power moves, and then they're just kind of running around, and then it's over.
Like they appeal, not appeal. They still adhere to the principles of animation, of like wind up and build up. Like we see, he, you know, gets his fist ready and then he like punches the camera and it's to Superman. So that's fine. But like the back and forth that we see with like Avatar, holy
Mm,
crap, I kind of
yeah,
want to see something like that. I mean, I'm not saying we need to see Superman being a martial artist or anything like that. I'm pretty sure he can be, but like even still, like
yeah,
again, it's a whole different. I think it's a study almost. It's not even a study, but I think it's a school of fight choreography. I feel like that's a whole other thing to do or to learn.
yeah. I did want to point out just to knock Moy again a little bit. They also during the scene with all those droids running around, there was a couple scenes where we'd see Soups either flying or punching, and suddenly all the droids would be gone, and then we cut back to another scene. They'd all be there again. And it's kind of like, Moy, I know you can do Moy better, so be a little bit Moy consistent.
For pit's sakes, you guys did my favorite episode of that series,
Oh yes, yeah. Avatar Aang, is that the one?
or even sorry series. Oh no, the Firebending Masters.
Oh, there you go, there you go.
Avatar Aang was
Yeah, I think it was it GM or JM
yeah,
GM.
Avatar Aang was GM. Though, darn you, JM. Last two episodes were
Yeah, they were the general managers of the animation for yeah that.
pretty much by that whole series. Yeah, finally uses his freeze breath, which is awesome.
Love that. I love all the pink by the way in the background too. Every time I see it, it makes me happy.
Like I said, for some reason, again, okay, now they're first they were in space, now they're in the atmosphere again. Okay, fair enough. And this doesn't look like the North Pole. Where is this exactly?
Oh, it's Louisiana.
That's fair. This part here, this is the one take I was thinking of. Not bad. Like that's pretty
Yep.
ambitious. I'll say that. I'm like, all right, that was pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, admittedly. Yeah. And strangely, because I didn't really feel this in the comic, but during this whole scene when Superman is very smugly just taking apart this guy and psychologically destroying him, just the animation and the performance by John Noble, I started feeling really bad for Brainiac,
Yep.
which I was not expecting. But
Like here's mud in your face. It's like, oh, I mean, see, oh, geez, okay. Everyone,
oh,
I actually wonder if they reused animation for that, like they did the same thing with like because we saw Brainiac do that, um, punch to the camera. I wonder if they just reused similar cells but changed it to Superman. I wonder if that
Hmm.
was
Yeah.
not like for laziness, but just like almost a callback to be like, you punch me like that, I'm gonna punch you back. See, we kind of saw that as well. Um, so if Clark were a little bit more warm, I feel like this, you wouldn't feel sympathy for Brainiac getting beaten up.
Yeah, it's just like Superman seems to be just reveling in seeing him be like I said, psychologically destroyed. His whole world's like falling apart and Superman just keeps egging on and stepping closer and just like yeah, just taking some sort of glee in it or something. I was a little bit like, oh my goodness.
Like you want Brainiac to, be this, guy who's being defeated by the basis of life. Like that's a brilliant, like I like that idea, but at the same time I see your point of like really, yeah, if he's this dictator for some reason because it's like this version of Superman, it doesn't feel earned. Like it feels like Superman's more the bully than the other way around.
Yeah, it's almost like Superman should be sad to see like, oh, you had so much potential. You have all this knowledge at your disposal and you've been a villain. And now just seeing you be defeated in this way, it's like what a shame that things had to be like this.
Lament.
But it's more like, yeah, but instead he's more like, now I get to just like, yeah, like shove your face in the mud and then be like, look at it, look at what you become. And I think it's the eye movements too. He constantly looks like he's in terror.
Yeah, and this feels like the end of the Predator because they were in the swamp and not the same exact thing, but like I don't know, I just getting the Predator flashbacks.
Yeah, that's fair. Look at him. He looks like a little like, oh no, I'm all dirty. What do I do?
It's also kind of funny that they didn't do this in the comic, but they kind of pulled back to a previous animated movie, well, also based off a comic, which is All Star Superman, where this in this edition they added Brainiac can hear, like has super hearing, similar to Lex Luthor at the end of All Star Superman, where he drank
Mhm.
that serum that gave him Superman's power for a brief period, and he, before all went away because of gravity, he finally saw what Superman. Well, there was a reused shot. He finally saw what Superman saw and was like he sees all the time of
Yeah,
how all the fundamental forces are interconnected between each other. And again, reusing that same punch, how they're all interconnected with each other, kind of using the same way, but just in like, yeah, see, this is how how do you filter it all out? It's like I grew up here or something like that. So I again, while you're right, it's smug Superman here. I at least like what they went with. Like in
yeah,
on paper, I like how they defeated Brainiac
yeah,
and expanded it more with the adaptation.
yeah. It was just all in the performance of Matt Bomer and a little bit of the animation, where it just did become like he was enjoying it too much, which didn't really feel. That again felt more like the Joe Kelly Superman that we saw. Um, but I will say I really liked when Brainiac when he starts when Superman starts pointing out all that stuff that he's feeling and sensing. Brainiac has like a moment of panic and a moment of connection when he's like, "You feel it too," and it's almost like there's a moment there that there could be a bridge,
Yep,
but then it all just blows up.
yep. And sorry for talking over it, but the whole bit with Kara, like getting the missile away from the sun, well done,
Yep,
excellent. That was very well done.
agreed. Yeah, I quite like that too. We didn't really talk about that part of the plot too much, but
It was kind of like it was visual storytelling at that point, and I would just be like, no, I like that she struggled to get it away and eventually got it, and was almost wondering if she would have gotten supercharged, her cells would have supercharged to give her an extra boost in power to like push it out of the way.
yeah. Yeah, what'd you think about when he melts and we see the robot body underneath? Like his human side had been so gone.
His organic side, spontaneous brainiac combustion.
Organic, yeah. It's a tongue twister.
Yikes! This is where he like looks like the original, well, not original, but one of the I guess common looks of Brainiac with his like I guess in endoskeleton.
Yeah. And we get the "Welcome to Earth" line after he's defeated. It's just like I don't know about that.
It's so funny how he looks like a smaller version of Darkseid there. Never got that connection. Same like jawline or same cheekbones. Huh, is that a mother box? No, that'd be funny. Let's okay, we've crossed Brainiac with Kryptonian culture in Bruce Timm's series. Maybe we shouldn't put
Yeah.
Brainiac as oh yeah, he's just like a apocalypse artifact or something like that. Okay, maybe not. Oh hey, that thing's still there.
Yeah, Welcome to Metropolis, Home of Superman. I like that they got that in there. That's kind of fun.
It's yeah, it's like well, okay, it's kind of a basic logo, but whatever.
Yeah, it didn't look as fun as in the comic, but it's still nice to see represented, I guess.
Yeah, of course,
And I like their hug too between Superman and Supergirl.
of course.
Even though again, I don't know if he earned it, but she did.
Well, yeah, she earned it because she, she accomplished it, and he got rid of Brainiac. And oh yeah, I guess the adaptation is instead of Superman murking the guy or wanting to murk the guy, um, nah, he just like self emulated, as we said.
Yeah. It all became too much and he just like short circuited.
He Wicked Witch of the West himself.
And yeah, so we didn't really talk about the Supergirl side of it, where they set up earlier that Brainiac destroys the suns after he gets what he wants from the worlds, and
Oh, I forgot about that. Right.
yeah, and so we saw that that was her side of the plot to save the planet from the sun being destroyed. So that was nice.
Oh, and I forgot that this one, we missed the line, but we clearly have a definitive answer because they kind of left it ambiguous in the comic, which I like. But in this one, they were more definitive of, nah, Brainiac knew that the planet was, sorry, Krypton was gonna, like, eventually just
Yeah.
explode. And he's like, nah, I left it, like, just to let it die. And I definitely like that.
Yeah, and then he regretted it. But what an asshole that guy. He says it so smugly when he says all that.
It's like, huh, Jor-El was correct. So, if there's a red sun present, how the hell did Clark get there? I'm assuming by the spaceship.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like he's got like a solar battery, and he can hold on to that energy.
Makes sense. And by the way, wait, so I feel like this is out of order because did they go
Yeah,
relatively
yeah,
mean relativity means absolutely jack squat diddly squat because like what is that supposed like because he leaves, comes back, kisses his fiance, and I don't know, man. I don't know.
yeah. They just wanted to end on this bit rather than the other bit,
Of course.
but it is funny that everyone during this disaster, everyone stops to look at the two of them kissing. That's the most important thing going on.
Even that EMT, like,
Yeah,
does the EMT know the Daily Planet or like what?
he just wants to see romance. He's hoping that there'll be a proposal going on.
He's like,
You know, everybody loves that stuff.
he hates the fact that everybody talks about Grey's Anatomy or ER and just like, oh, all the romance on that thing. He's like, ah, finally I could see some office drama or office romance. Let's go.
There you go. Yeah.
I've been waiting for like 7 or 8 seasons of Office for this finally.
But all jokes aside, in jokes of the people in the background aside, I do think that this is a really nice scene. Um, and when he finally does, propose at the end of it, I was pretty happy with all that.
Where'd you get the ring? I was almost like half expecting him to open up the box and it be the Brainiac brain.
I was expecting her to be clapping and cheering in the background once he opened it.
By the way, for some strange reason, I got like full on anxiety, not full on anxiety, but I definitely got anxious when everybody was looking at the camera because I felt like they were looking at me and I was getting real like, oh please stop looking at me.
That's fair. That's fair. By the way, Cat Grant's animation in the background, just his stock still image. She's just standing there all smug and smiling. Every time I saw it, it was just making me laugh.
Yeah, they gave her like the plastic surgery cheekbones, which is kind of funny. Or maybe not the plastic surgery, but they gave her, I guess, like aged cheekbones to show that she is aging, or well, she's middle aged, I suppose.
Oh, and just as I saw his name there, James Tucker, the lead animator, and also the director of this one. This is the only DC animated feature that he directed, but he did quite a few episodes of Batman Beyond, Static Shock, Static Shock,
Oh, okay.
and Legion of the Superheroes. And oh, look at this! This was quite a surprise. I was not anticipating this when this popped up.
Okay, this is a mid credit scene.
Yeah, yeah, the first of the mid-credit scenes that we've encountered, and I think that this was the first one for the DC animated stuff overall.
So is he repairing himself with nanobots? What's going? Also, I'm surprised he didn't put him in the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, it is weird that he like put him in this shrine in this back to tank. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Soups was trying to regrow him or something, but
Fair enough. I wish that they had continued on stuff in the background while the credits were playing. Just as
hmm, yeah.
animation services provided by Moy Animation Studios. Anyway, um, as if it were a Ghibli film, but that's not there. So I don't know the guy's name. Maybe you could help me out with it. But I kept meaning to say this. The design for like the model for Superman in this movie looks a lot
Hmm.
like I guess retroactively, or without realizing it, it kind of looks like the guy who is playing Superman on Superman and Lois.
Oh, no, I don't know his name. But I could see some of that.
Guy from Teen Wolf.
Oh, I didn't realize he was in that. Oh, geez.
Tyler something, I don't know, but like it almost, I could not help but think of that. It's like, oh wait, that's the guy that guy looks like literally looks like the character design looks like the guy from. I wonder if actually if Teen Wolf was around this time and they used him as like a model or a reference, that'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, I don't know when that show started.
I feel it was like around the time of 2010 because I remember when I was watching like flipping through MTV every now and then. I remember that was I never watched it, but I remember seeing advertisements for it.
Yeah, but I guess just to round out this discussion, the credits are still rolling. Yeah, what did you think? I mean, we already kind of gave away we gave away the goose already. But what are your final thoughts, at least, with this one?
I jumped the shark for some reason. I don't know why, or jumped the line.
Why not?
Um, I think I just wanted to like change it up, just because, and also because these credits are pretty short. Holy smoke! So we've only been talking for not
Yeah,
long, but wow, short credits there. But anyways, not like I said, this is a light feel in it for me. There was I was thought I was going to come into something that was a little bit more crass and crude, and there was some toilet humor here or there, some suggestive themes, but overall it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I was expecting something maybe along the lines of New 52, and well, it's like year 2 of New 52 by this point, by the way. So
oh yeah,
darkness and nihilism, and edginess of the New 52 hadn't, I guess, fully infected on this film, because there is moments of it being light. Again, it doesn't it doesn't answer the, oh, does Superman put all the aliens back? Like, obviously, like, we didn't need every single one of that, but that doesn't matter there. So for what it was, I think this is a solid adaptation. They did take liberties, and they did, I think personally, take some liberties in a positive direction,
yeah,
tightened up the script and or expanded some of it out, which not too bad. So overall, yeah, I think I'll definitely give this, like I said, a light feel in it, and I probably would give this a recommend it for both. But I would suggest reading the comic first and then watching this one. Maybe you can do both, like one or the other, but I would just go with comic first and then watch this
yeah,
one.
yeah. The comic is the one that is the strong recommend. Would definitely say if you haven't dipped too much into Superman comics and you want to check out a good one, I would put that in there. Minus some of some sexist stuff with Cat Grant that feels a little outdated.
I
Otherwise, it's a really good. I think it was 5 issues.
Yep.
Really good comic.
I regret saying that joke about Supergirl looking at her in that way. I'm like, I regret saying that. I like that.
In this one, in terms of the DC animated movies, it's another solid adaptation. I like the changes that they added, just like you said. I think some of them were smart and fed into what they wanted to do better. So I definitely appreciate all that. Animation wise, it was good. The on screen version of Brainiac was definitely an improvement from the last time we saw it in one of these movies. And yeah, I'm happy to as we round out to the end, happy to get another good one on the list of the animated ones. And I'm very curious about this next one, Red Sun, because we're going to be jumping ahead 7 years. The next one comes out in 2020. So I'm curious to see how much the animation's changed and yeah, what they're going to give us next time. But before then, of course, we do have to jump over and read the comic version of Red Sun. So that'll be the next entry in our DC retrospective. But yeah, it's kind of sad that we're coming so close to the end of Superman. It feels like this one's been taking a really long time. So
Well, yeah, don't realize what you got good until it is over. I butchered
mm,
that line, but you know what I mean. The Aerosmith line.
don't know what you got till it's gone.
There we go. Or wait, was that Aerosmith? I don't remember now.
No, I don't think so.
Or no, wait, that was Rolling Stones. That's what it was.
Yeah, but speaking of being gone, thank you, Isaac, for joining me yet again for another one of these commentaries. And if you'll please round us out and take us home to Krypton or Kandor.
Old Town Krypton, let's go. Or that too. Old Town Candor or whatever. Or West Candor. I have no idea. Till next time, ladies and gentlemen, those between affiliated, thank you so much for listening to us ramble on as I'm a madman as usual. And like I said, hopefully it was entertaining to you. It was potentially intellectually stimulating or just served as white noise doing your chores. Till next time. It's interesting how this is a character who Brainiac is so fixated on knowledge and information that I wonder what a encounter with his MCU counterpart Ultron would be like, given that he was bred from the internet, and he said that the world has nothing to offer. I guess this was 2013 before the internet decayed into utter vile bile.
Hmm.
Till next time, peace.